Ew, why? So on today's episode of Alien Earth, somebody's head washed up on shore, only to find out that it's a doll head. Why? I don't know. This was the episode when we found out that Wendy could apparently talk to the aliens. Her brother is worried because that is his sister. She's not a robot to him. Glad they established very early on that she was his little baby sister inside of an adult woman's body. Because it would have been very weird if they didn't say that and then he caught feelings and then she had to explain to him all weird like, yeah, we can't put that back in the box now that we've crossed that because gross. They're trying to make it so that they can adjust the frequencies of what she can hear. Also, I find it very interesting that if she can't necessarily feel pain, why is it that when the frequency is too high that it bothers her and she seems to be having a physical reaction from it? Why does it hurt, Wendy? You don't have any pain receptors. Or do you?
Stop. Down.
Why does she feel pain? I mean, I guess you would have to integrate pain receptors into these bots so that they can avoid things that could destroy them, the multi-million-dollar properties that they are, except that Boy Cavalier decided to send every single one of them into danger on what is essentially a battlefield to retrieve creatures that could kill them and waste all that money. But this is Boy Cavalier that we're talking about, so that's on brand for him. The brother's like, chill out, bro, you're gonna get hurt. Shut up, bro, go watch some Ice Age, I'll join you later. And then they get her to recreate the sound that the xenomorph is making, and even though she's super smart, these kids are in these... That looks like he transforms into that guy. But these kids are in these android bodies. It is kind of funny that even though they know that they could have knowledge by just reading a book and just automatically knowing something, most of them choose not to do that. Wendy was the first, and it's like she's been around for a while, and she doesn't know basic things. I love her, though.
Technology is indistinguishable from magic. Don't think of your voice as a voice. Think of it as a speaker.
Why are you telling her this? I know you're a genius, but she figured out how to hack into certain mainframes that she didn't have access to, that they didn't program her to learn how to do. She just figured it out on her own and learns how to pick up certain things and how to fight and all that, but you have to tell her how to recreate or imitate a sound? Either that or she's looking at him like, bro, I think I understand how to do it. I just wanted to make you feel all special so that, you know, I don't seem like I'm a Mary Sue. I'm not even going to complain about her being a Mary Sue because she's very likable, so it's okay, sort of. Why does Boy Cavalier look like one of the aliens when he's moving? Every time he moves or speaks or just exists, he looks like one of the aliens that he's trying to observe. It's very uncanny. Anyway, people are all freaked out about this, and she keeps going for quite a while as if she's expecting them to translate it, which they're probably recording it so they can translate it later. Watch, she's gonna be able to talk to the aliens or fool them. And this isn't very far-fetched. I know people are getting all upset about this, but honestly, they already precursored this with David. Daddy? Baby girl?
Move. Don't shoot.
Oh no, Daddy. What's happening? Nothing, baby. Just smell my breath. And she breathes it in, and she likes it. And this is so wholesome, no?
You have to earn its respect.
That did not go very well. Oh no. The way his face... Anyway, him blowing on the face of the thing, I think he was also speaking the frequency of that protomorph or whatever the hell it was. I forgot. And Wendy can basically do the same thing.
And this is my bed.
Honestly, as I was looking around here, I actually expected there to be Ice Age memorabilia because that seems to be a very big thing between the both of them. And because she loved her brother, I was expecting that she'd have a teddy of Sid or something, but not one of those. Maybe Disney didn't want to overkill it or something. Anyway, they talk it out. She's like, are you mad at me? He's, of course I'm not mad at you, stupid bitch. She asks how come he never visited her. He said he wanted to come, but she doesn't really kind of believe him, and we don't really believe him either. What the hell are those things in the background? Geez, that is nightmare fuel. What kind of squirrel is that? Why does it look like that? The others look normal. Then there's an elephant the size of a mouse, and then you have this really huge-ass head squirrel that looks like it has cancer in its cheeks. And then they watch Ice Age. Like, they can never stop. They reveal that my favorite character, Kumi Morrow, that we learn his name, he's been talking to Slightly, and our guy, Timothy Oliphant, knew this all along, but he's just observing. Meanwhile, Boy Cavalier continues reading Peter Pan, because why not?
We're not friends.
No, I suppose not. But I want to be.
Friends don't lie. You said you were Prodigy.
Well, I didn't know if you were a villain or a hero.
The way that Kumi is just manipulating this guy, because he knows he's a kid, so he's like, this is gonna be easy. It's like taking candy from a baby, literally, except you're getting the baby to try and take candy from adults, and the candy's not candy, it's monsters that can obliterate the baby. But respect, this is like the best anime, without it being anime, villain anti-hero, whatever the hell he's supposed to be, I don't know, but he's my favorite character in this so far. And the way that he can go from 0 to 60, look, he's very intimidating. I love the way that he plays this role. Holy crap. He's the kind of parent that would walk into the room, he never has to like beat you or anything, he just has to stare at you and you're like, oh boy, oh no. I shit myself. I'm so sorry, Dad. I don't even know what I did wrong, but I'm sorry and I will correct it as soon as possible.
Get something and bring it to me, okay? An egg.
You don't have eggs where you are?
I love Slyly, man. He's so hilarious. Also, if he knows that he's being monitored at all times, why does he think that going out here in the middle of this Everglade is going to keep people from monitoring him? Unless he thinks that they're going to lose a signal here, but does he not think that people are going to notice him talking to himself? Then he puts it together. Oh, you want a monster egg. So Slyly's like, dude, I can't steal from my friends. Then Kumi's like, well, technically it ain't stealing because the egg belongs to me and you guys kind of took it. So I'm just taking it back. Is it stealing if, you know, it belonged to me in the first place and I'm just taking it back? So then they get into a conversation about loyalty. Slightly feels bad because he says, Boy Cavalier, this is my home, he fixed me. And our guy Kumi is like, well, loyalty is a very different thing. People do all kinds of terrible things in the name of loyalty, don't they not? Which I guess he's kind of doing too, but Kumi's a special kind of case, because I think he's doing it for more than loyalty. He was paid for a job, and that's what he's doing. So they trade names, and as soon as Slightly falls into the trap when Kumi tells him his name, I knew that something was gonna go up. I knew he was gonna look up his family members or something was gonna happen for Slightly. Kumi's like, all right, Arash Singh, see you later. Then we get Timothy Oliphant asking Slightly questions when he already knows what's going on.
Mizaru sees no evil. Kikazaru hears no evil. Iwazaru speaks no evil. They're figures in Buddhist teaching about avoiding evil thoughts and deeds, but over the years they've come to represent something else.
So Oliphant's like, if I did something evil, would you report me? If I hurt or caused others to be hurt, would you do something to stop me or look the other way? And that's when you hear Kumi's voice, that's very terrifying, speaking in his ear, which makes me believe that Kumi is hooked into Slightly's auditory functions all the time. Because as soon as the bot asks him this question,
Would you do something to stop me, or would you look the other way?
Careful.
Everything okay?
Yes. It's just, is this a test?
it's a test. It's funny how he's now a synthetic and he is giving all the tells of a human being that is nervous, which is weird because for that to happen, you'd have to have adrenal glands and a nervous system, which they no longer have, so I'm a bit confused. We did get Walter showcasing some of those behaviors, and he was never a human being. He was just programmed to act very human and have emotions. But these guys breathe fast. They look like they're about to cry and all manner of things, so they're way more human than synthetics usually were in the past. Who knows? You know what Slightly tells him in answer? I would stand up for my friends. And the guy says, good. Which makes me believe that since that was an actual answer to his question, that it's possible that Oliphant's character is probably going to have to do something in the future that will warrant Slightly being on his side or the bots being on his side. And that's when we get this beautiful gem of a scene, one of the best from out of the show. The poor bat and Twinkle Toes over here sees that there's a new body. And as it plops onto the floor, things just go ape. I can imagine the sheep is like, okay. What's happening? What's going on? Why is there a freaking pumpkin patch on the floor with eyes looking at me? Why is it coming towards me? Is this a test? Probably the same thing that Slightly asked. It finds out very quickly that it is not a test. Things get very violent as it yoinks out the eye of the sheep very violently and buries itself inside very painfully. I'm guessing the sheep is no longer there. This Nat is now wearing the sheep sheep like a freaking mech suit, and bro is gone. Then the sheep stands up like a freaking skinwalker, looks at the humans, and then decides, oh wait, shit, I'm supposed to be on all fours. This guy's getting off on watching this. Ocella says, oh shit, I forgot. Oh, bah. This is the creepiest scene. Look, even the freaking synthetic guy is like, oh my fucking god. Everyone is terrified. And our guy who chooses a name for himself later on, Isaac, I guess his name is now, says that it's very smart. Look at how it's watching us, which is freaking creepy. This part right here, just, oh my god. The way they made the sheep look so terrifying. This guy's moving back and forth, and the sheep is just following him. That's if you see a sheep staring at you like, oh my god. That is skinwalkerness, skinwalkernese, whatever. See how they managed to do this? Jurassic Park can make its herbivores look scary and mutated. Boy Cavalier is upset because the alien is not paying him any attention. He throws a ball to get its attention. He's like, yeah, that's right. Look at me. I am the one you need to focus on. You sure you want that, buddy? You really sure you want that? I don't think you want that. I wouldn't want this thing staring at me, but whatever. Obviously, Ocellus is very, very intelligent. And I had a whole video I was doing about the intelligence of this creature and whether or not it retains the intelligence of the host that it hooks up to, or if it already has inherent intelligence that it carries with it and adds to the intelligence of the creature, like certain instincts that its hosts have embedded in it. Is the sheep still itself? I think it might be. It's kind of like Get Out in the sunken place. Maybe that's where the sheep is. But I think bro is gone. I think the sheep is not home right now. Baba, black sheep, have you any coke? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Pour it down my throat. The married couple scientists are having a little tiff. The husband seems to be the only sensible person here, outside of Cavalier's right-hand man, that has a problem with what's going on. He's saying, look, these AI kids, they're not ready for any of this. And now we have all these aliens that we're now working with. We're stretched too thin. Meanwhile, his wife is like, it'll be okay. How about I cook you some food so you can shut the fuck up?
Light is a particle and a wave.
Yeah, theoretically, yeah. But we took the minds of children and put them in synthetic bodies. That's not theoretical. I mean, if we did this wrong, worst case, we got a bunch of AIs running around thinking they're human. Worst case, we killed 6 kids.
No, no, no. Why does she look 40 years older than he does? Maybe it's the beard, but he looks like he's her son. And maybe she is. Whatever. Doesn't matter, I guess. You know, people have, you know what I mean? So understandably, this guy is balancing on one big toenail, as everyone should be, so that he can concentrate on the risks involved, reevaluate what they're doing to make sure it's worth the risk, which he obviously doesn't think it is. He is basically functioning as Ian Malcolm in this situation.
When you see the danger, generally inherent in what you're doing here, genetic power is the most awesome force the planet's ever seen, but you wielded like a kid that's found his dad's gun. Stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as you could, and before you even knew what you had, you patented it and packaged it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you're selling it. You're selling. Well,
I don't think you're giving us our due credit. Our scientists have done things which nobody's ever done before.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think they should.
But nobody ever cares. And if they did, then we wouldn't have these movies. Then they get interrupted.
I have good news. Such good news. I'm pregnant.
Look at their faces. How do you respond to that? Because, like, your brain is short-circuiting. You don't know, okay, is she playing around like Dollhouse? Or there's so many moving parts involved with that statement, because especially since you're no longer in a human body. What?
What?
I'm gonna have a baby.
No, that's impossible. You're a machine.
I'm not a machine. Why would you say that?
Said the robot.
This is kind of one of those uncomfortable situations when you're trying to tell someone the very obvious fact of life that everybody else knows, but they somehow were so mentally broken that they're having a hard time grasping the truth that everybody else is seeing around them. And so everyone has to pretend as though they're in on the little fantasy that this little poor girl has going in her head. Clearly, they should have explained things a little better to her, because even though it was a little insensitive to say she's a machine, she is a machine. But she is also a kid, so someone needs to have a conversation with someone. Which is exactly what ends up happening when the scientist woman is trying to tell her, do you know how babies are made? You know, a man's sperm fertilizes the woman's eggs, and we're talking about the birds and the bees and all of that. Which is stuff they could have learned early. Why did you not give each of them books to know all of this? How long has has it been since they were transferred into these bodies? Like, why would you not teach them basic knowledge? Maybe they don't have to ever know it because they're now in these bodies, but they're still going to be curious about the world around them. And the majority of people are not walking around in synthetic bodies, so you need to tell them how humans work and function at the very least so they can know how not to hurt human beings since you're going to be around them and they're so much stronger. So scientist lady says, yeah, you can't have that process without the man's sperm fertilizing that of the woman's eggs.
And the embryo grows into a baby. Except for Jesus. His mommy didn't do that and he was born.
Okay, and then how is the scientist supposed to be like, okay, that's her belief, but that's not reality? Like, what am I supposed to say to this? How am I supposed to do this? You skipped the whole segment where you were supposed to do this with the children in the first place. Just because they can't get oh Lord. Clearly, this girl does not want to talk about any of this. Her mind is just gone. She still believes that she is human and that she's pregnant somehow. First thing my husband was thinking when we were watching this together, he's like, oh no, I hope that something didn't happen to her. I hope no one took advantage of her because why would she draw that conclusion? And I don't think that's the case because first of all, unless this happened before she transferred over into the synthetic body, no one's touching. Unless what happened with the Oculus made her think that or question her physicality. And then what if you've always wanted to have children? Like, even as a child, like when we are at a certain age, especially as girls, a lot of us imagine, oh, I'd like to start a family and have 600 babies. That's how many babies I used to want when I was growing up. 600 babies. I was a kid, I just thought, oh, they're all gonna be kittens. And then, you know, then it dropped to 20 and now it's like, nah, I think I'm good. But it's normal for little girls to want that. But she just flat out at this moment in time does not even want to hear about science or medicine or the truth because she wants to stay in her little delusion that she's still human, which is honestly very sad and heartbreaking because even though she's no longer sick, now you can no longer have what makes you a woman or a human being in the physical sense, which she's probably missing. And all of that probably got worse and more challenged when she was faced with fear and death with the Oculus attacking her. And this part of the freaking show is where someone needs to turn something off.
I said no.
You see, this is the stage where me as a kid would have an existential crisis watching my mom trying not to lose her shit. Like, let's both take time to process because one of us is hallucinating right now. Bap! This is bad, except it is not a child anymore. 'Tis a freaking mech bot, and this thing is 10 times more powerful than the average. This woman has that look. She has that look like, the fuck you said? But I can't even spank you, because you... First of all, I might break my hand trying to do that. Second of all, I might lose my head trying to do that. So now we're at a problem. Now you are a little piece of shit kid inside of a body of a killing machine. Essentially a freaking car with legs and hands. What to do?
Okay. It's a girl, I think. Clarissa.
This woman is scared out of her mind. She's so terrified. She looks familiar. Was she in Game of Thrones? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't remember where I saw her from. But yeah, I understand where she's coming from, but she's also trying to reach this girl. I think she's realizing now something is wrong.
What happened at the towers? I want to talk about that.
Bro, the way she says it, she looks like she's broken. Put the whole thing to sleep. Put it on, put it in the refrigerator or something. Remove the battery. She's gone. It's too late. It's too late. It didn't take. But of course, the memories keep coming back and Nivs keeps trying to remind her. She has that look of someone who's about to beat someone's ass and she's repeating the same line over and over again. You know how girls, like, when they're about to fight, like, get out of my face, get out of my face, get out of my face. And you know if the person doesn't do exactly what they keep telling them to do, that you're going to lose your tooth. That's the face that she has right now. And she keeps telling her she doesn't want to talk about it. But the woman keeps pushing. Which, if it was an ordinary person, you could push those boundaries. You cannot do that with a freaking robot.
Those creatures can't hurt you. You know that, right? They're all locked up.
I said stop talking!
All right, sweetheart. I'm sorry. Do you want to have some tea? was thinking about having a cup of tea.
Bitch, do it look like I want some fucking tea?
What's happening to me?
Those are serious school shooter vibes. Like, she's not even staring at the woman anymore. She's just looking into space. Nope. Diddy, nope. She offers her some tea. Can they even eat? She flips the switch for the security, and the poor woman is shaking. While the girl was like, oh, what about a boy? What about Trevor? Like, that would be a great boy name. The security guards come in. She decides to keep the teddy. And then she tells the guards, yeah, we have a level 3 event. No idea what that's supposed to mean. Maybe that's code for, hey, your robot has gone manic. And now she wants them to lock her in her room. Like, the robot can't figure out a way to get out of it. Wendy's brother is threatened, and the brother actually thinks that this corporation's gonna let him take his sister home, still inside the synthetic body that they're paying for. He's funny. Meanwhile, Boy Cavalier is jealous of Wendy's brother because he knows that the brother has influence over her. And remember, Boy Cavalier is supposed to be another allegory for Peter Pan, who was strictly against growing up and parents and family and all of that, because he had forgotten what it's like to be loved because he didn't experience that. He wants to show everyone that he's fun. And they don't need to grow up, they can just stay with him forever. Don't you know? And Boy Cavalier tells her, hey, you fought the crocodile. Now you can hear the clock, right? Because you can talk to aliens. I don't think we should let your brother stay, by the way. I don't like brothers. I like sisters. I wonder if he would. I wonder if it was his sister, if he would have been saying the same thing. Probably not. And he has a good point. He's like, none of the other kids get to have their family here. Why do you get to have your brother? He's strictly trying to manipulate her right here. And then he even tells her, bro, he didn't even come visit you when you were sick. When he knows that they wouldn't allow any of the other family members to do that. And Wendy still tries to defend him, but you can tell this bothers her because now she's dubious as to whether or not her brother was telling the truth.
Too far. It's too hard. All I know is if I was your brother, I'd find a way to be there.
That's nasty work. But still, yet, he allows the brother to stay unless he becomes a distraction. And Wendy pinky swears. And Slightly is acting crazy as hell because he feels guilt. So later he calls Kumi and says, dude, I can't do this. I checked out the lab. I cannot still, like, it's always being watched. I can't do this to my friends. Kumi says, can't or won't. But I'm gonna help you out, because I can see that you're having a little trouble with motivation. I figured you'd need some help, so I got you.
You know, it's funny you called. I was just talking about you. With your mother.
What?
She thought you were dead. Isn't that awful?
Me?
Oh, she can't hear you. This is our private line. But you know what she told me? Your brothers will be home soon. I can't wait to meet them.
No, please.
I feel really bad for Slightly, because now he's like, I gotta save my mom and my brothers, or else this guy, who I thought was my friend, is going to make peanut butter jelly sandwiches out of all of them. He's not even really, no, he has met the guy, yeah, so he knows this guy is gonna stand on business. And the mother, she is experiencing so many emotions right now because she's happy that her child is still alive, but she's also terrified because this guy is here who was pretending to be a friend, and also because she knows that her son is being forced to do something he doesn't want to do. But I think honestly the mother's more happy that her child's alive than anything else.
And they have guns and...
I'll tell you what you're gonna do. Instead of sneaking out an egg, you're gonna sneak in a person.
Person?
Into the lab. Anyone you like.
I also like how they do the overlaying of different scenes here to let you know what's actively happening simultaneously to what you're watching. So Timothy Oliphant's synthetic character is listening in on all of this, waiting for everything to unfold for whatever reason.
Take them to see the eggs, get them good and close.
Why?
Well, the egg is gonna hatch and something's gonna come out. Don't worry. It doesn't want you. Something's gonna come out and attach itself to the person's face. And he or she is gonna fall down. And you'll need to find someplace quiet to keep them.
How is he gonna achieve all of that? Man, I guess when you're... Holy shit. Who is farting? Like, one of my puppies just hotboxed my entire room. Good lord, that is rank. Hold on. Oh, they never do it in Daddy's room. Anyway, so apparently... Oh, God, it really stinks. It's gonna take 48 hours for the the xenomorph, why I'm thinking elephant, to come out. Does it really only take 48 hours? Because I feel like it takes a shorter time, or it kind of varies. But maybe these are special xenomorphs.
Looks like your mom wants to say something. Do you want to say something to Arush?
Arush?
Mommy?
We love you, beta. You know, every day your brothers and me talk about you. Arush.
Mommy?
Isn't that sweet?
I feel so bad for Arush because The mother has a lot of faith. She can't hear him. I mean, this guy could have gotten Aldrich's name from anywhere, but I guess because he's not stealing anything from her or doing anything, she believes him because she's like, okay, well, he's not using it to try and get something from me. She's using it to try and clearly intimidate whoever's on the other line, so that must mean that's my son. And I feel so bad for the mom in this situation.
You're clear.
Okay. Great. You're doing great. Now go get him.
Bro, let's give this guy an award. This actor is crazy. Oh, I love him so much, man. He's that bad. I know I keep reiterating myself over and over again, but he's the badass freaking evil anime character that always walks in the room with a dark cloud and everybody's like, oh shit. He's kind of like Death in Puss in Boots, but way cooler. Love this character. Love him. Oh my gosh. Then we get the brother fraternizing with the kids and he's telling them about what happened with the ship. Got my guy Smee over here. And everyone looks really happy. A stark contrast to how Slightly is feeling. Now he's mad and he's like, how come he gets to stay here? We have mothers and brothers too. And I completely understand where he's coming from because this guy is dealing with stuff all by himself. He can't even tell anyone even if he wanted to because that dude will just cut up his mom into little smithereens and sell her as sashimi. Everyone tries to defend Joe, the brother, but he says, you know what? Slightly's right. All your family should be here. We should ask. And then they're like, no, I don't think we should because they kind of helped us out. Now here comes the interesting part. Wendy is talking to the baby alien inside of her brother's taken out lung while Slightly is also stalking the brother. Of course he's thinking about kidnapping this guy. And what would you do in that situation? Realistically, if you had a kid or someone who you love very, very much and you had to sacrifice someone else to save that loved one, I can't see me doing that. I'm sorry, like, I understand if people do it, why they would do it, but I cannot see myself doing that. Maybe I'd be like, oh gosh, I gotta save my father, I gotta save my brothers, but then it came around to it and I see that person being all innocent and me going to hurt them while someone else is hurting my family. I can't. But I understand why people would be tempted and motivated to do that. Anyway, as she's talking to the alien, synthetic daddy over there is watching everything as he does. And the alien baby starts getting really active and decides it wants to now be free. Freaking alien baby's like, who the fuck? Who are you? I'm your friend. What in the ugly you better start speaking, bitch. Then it's all reactionary, but notice it doesn't do anything. She just stares at it, and then she starts petting its starts petting the head, and it likes it. And this is very cute. If you were to squint at like the wrong time, this would look like a completely different scene. This is something that makes Synthetic Oliphant very interested. And Wendy is of course very enthralled as well because she's got herself a baby alien. Now the question is she going to be able to control this thing? As long as they don't go all stupid and Jurassic World with it with Owen Grady and the constant him holding up his hand to do freaking Jedi magic on the raptors to get them to act the way he wants them to act, and then we completely forget that they're raptors and they're dangerous creatures, we should be golden. Episode 5 of Alien Earth takes us back to life on the ship, 17 days from when it crashes, where we meet all of the crew, including useless Captain, Hebrew, our anime badass, food woman, who apparently likes to work with alien species, drink and eat around them without any masks or gloves, which is kind of on brand for these characters in these alien movies because they did the same thing in Prometheus.
Flashback.
We see the head. There are these weird looking cell growth on it. Her face is so freaking close. When aren't you the one that told her husband to put on his helmet, but then she is the one that took her helmet off after him, like an idiot? And now you are trying to ascertain what killed these people. Why did the guy fall? What was he running from? What led him to get decapitated? And you get these pulsating, weird-ass looking things that look like spores underneath his skin, flipping around and doing the merengue on his skull, and you're gonna open your freaking mouth and have your face inches from his dead head. What is wrong with these people? And Covenant.
You have to earn its respect.
These are grown-ass human beings that are experts in their field that trained for situations like this, who know what to do and what not to do, but yet they go to an alien planet that they didn't map out, that they didn't even know existed, and they're going to stick their faces in shit that you know that there are plants here that if you touch them, you could die within a minute? Did they not listen to Mr. Vollin's videos back home? Did they not? No one listens to Mr. Vollin. You don't even have to, dude. Just use common sense. Common sense. There's no such thing in these movies. It's so irritating. And you mean to tell me he doesn't see that? His light is shining on it. When I touch something that's dusty or I'm cleaning and I throw up a pillow and I see dust particles, I'm aware that they are dust particles and I'm aware that they can go into my nose and make me sneeze and make me sick. Your flashlight is shining on them, bro. Your flashlight is shining right on them. Your nose is so close. Your flashlight is shining on them. Your flashlight is shining.
End of flashback.
And then we have Sir Talks a Lot. Doesn't know how to read the room in situations.
You're saying freeze him with that thing humping his face for the rest of the ride?
Engineer Old Man is always bitching about the state of things, and basically Kid. That's literally what they call him. The old man sees him as like a son, but doesn't want to admit it, kind of tough love kind of thing. And he's honestly one of the sweetest characters, so you don't want anything to happen to him. It's kind of the relationship that Tom Holland has with Tony Stark. But anyway, the main crux of all of this is that this guy's only mission is to get the cargo back to Earth intact. That's not working out well so far. Also, I don't understand why this guy is just allowed to sit there and be freaking weird without anyone reprimanding him. Is he supposed to be the android on the ship? Apparently not. He's just very strange, and everyone admits that he's creepy and just allows him to be creepy, even though the captain's the one who should be shutting the shit down. This is one of the best episodes because we get a smorgasbord of aliens, but this turns out to be more of an Among Us situation because someone clearly purposely sabotaged the ship by opening the cans with the xenomorph eggs in them. So now we have xenomorphs loose, face huggers, and all that. Our guy, Sir Badass, who's in charge of security, is trying to figure out who sabotaged the ship. So the entire episode is basically a mystery thing. He also doesn't trust this woman because she's been sleeping with the captain or the other guy. So there's a conflict of interest, clearly. They figure freezing him, putting him in cryo is gonna stop this thing. Newsflash, it doesn't. So Kumi's like, yeah, we've got some issue here. There's someone on board that's trying to sabotage the ship and obviously kill people. And this Sir Talks a Lot makes the mistake of, doing exactly what his namesake suggests. And I'm telling you, that's what I love about Kumi Morrow. He is so intimidating that even just watching him makes you feel like you're the one being intimidated.
You saw Flash, could be anyone, right? Sabotage, you and me. Is it you? No, come on, I was just, for example, just saying.
Oh my god, I love Kumi. Bro is an ISTJ. Do not fuck with them under these circumstances. Joking with them is not the right move to make in the circumstance because they will take you very literally. Bro's about business. It is not time for joking around. That shit was just so freaking awesome. What a freaking badass. Oh my god. So, Mrs. Not Captain didn't believe Kumi when he said that the cargo getting back intact was even more important than the crew. So she decided to go herself and ask Mother, who I guess functions as the AI to be a representative of what the company would want. And it tells her exactly the same thing. Survival of cargo is top priority, acknowledge. This woman takes too long, and the AI is like, hello? Hello, you there? I need you to acknowledge, please. Do we have a problem? She cusses it out and she's like, fine, I guess. What else am I gonna say? This part's very sad because not only we see the cat on the left that falls victim to Ocella's. I feel very bad for Kitten. But we also get to see some backstory with Kumi that he had a daughter. And I think this was a really good way of telling the story because they show her letters from when she's very little. His nickname is Dada Bear. She said, I had a nightmare last night. Mom tried to tell me it was just a dream, but it took a really long time to go back to sleep. I dreamed that your spaceship well, she's just a baby, flew by the moon. Then obviously her writing changes here. Her name is Estelle, as you can see at the bottom. And this gives us a little bit more information into the world. I also like that they leave it on long enough for us to read it, but you can also pause it if you need to. And it says, and I'm reading this because it's important, Dada Bear, I'm starting to look at schools. I didn't know this, but Mom says that Weyland-Yutani will pay for all of my school. Weyland-Yutani is the company that our guy Kumi works for. His daughter continues saying, that's if I go to Weyland-Yu sanctioned school. Go to a Weyland-Yutani sanctioned school, sorry. Is that really the case? Because I want to go to one of the old world colleges. they don't have restrictions on the content that the corporate schools have. I think if I tried, I could get into Harvard, but of course, we'd have to pay for it ourselves. Also, my friend Cody's dad works for Weyland-Yutani too, but she only gets a partial scholarship. How important are you? I wish we could talk. That's not the first or last time I've thought that, I'm sure. But sometimes it would be good to have another voice to bounce this off on or something like that. Then we see that she sends him birthday gifts, and it's really, really sad, man. This is a great way of seeing his backstory. And the thing is, the only time this guy smiles, look, he has her pacifier, all her memorabilia, and the only time he smiles is when he's reading his stuff from his loved ones. He also remembers when he was on Earth or wherever, and he said, that's where I'm gonna be, in that general direction.
There. See that? I'm going there. When you miss me, or you want to talk, just look straight up. I'll always be there, looking back at you.
And Chief Security Officer Kumi gets a letter that says Mission 8 of 65. I guess because they trade off with how much money and privileges they get, they have to trade off 65 years of their life. Now, it doesn't mean they age 65 years because they go into cryo. But think about it. That's 65 years gone. So by the time you come back to Earth, almost everyone you've known is going to be dead. If you left when you were really young and you had a husband or a wife, they're going to be super old or in the ground. If you had kids, you're going to miss their entire lifetime. That is a huge-ass sacrifice. And this unfortunate letter says, Mr. Morrow, this is to inform you that your daughter, Estelle, 19, died in a fire that destroyed her home on the 12th of April. Her effects have been placed in storage for you on your return in 53 freaking years. And all I'm thinking is, did she die in a fire, though? Because it seems eerily convenient that she didn't want to go to any of the Weyland-Yutani people, and she has an issue with things being restricted and censored, and then she just happens to die right when she's about to go to college? Seems very suspicious.
Weird.
Anyway, as he finishes his morning session, we get to see that he's not a cold-hearted machine, as people with his personality type are usually dubbed as. He is a very deeply feeling person, but you get to see a little bit more into who he is. He's very duty-bound, but he's also very loyal and very caring, and he's probably very broken as well. Where is his wife? Is his wife even alive? And she's not the same person. Even if he goes back, what is she gonna do? Snuggle up to an overcooked raisin? Like, that's not realistic. It's also not realistic to expect that your significant other is gonna stay alone for the rest of their life. I don't know with the Yutani agreements with them getting your royalties, how that works. I imagine 65 years is a long time to ask someone to stay faithful and freaking dry. Now the idea is to try and find the xenomorph and electrocute it and capture it, because if it bleeds, then that goes straight through the ship, because now they know that acid is its blood, which I like that they touched on, because when they tried to take the facehugger off the other guy, the acid ate right through his throat and killed him. Probably a better way to go while he was asleep. Now, this is the part that just, wow, this really gets me, because please explain to me how, in which world do you think it is a good idea or advisable in the least to be working with alien species that you really know nothing about in close proximity and be eating, straight up ingesting food, not wearing a mask, drinking water, and leaving your water container open while there are alien guts and shit everywhere, not knowing whether or not any of these things procreate via the air. It is the most irresponsible. I mean, I say that, but we did have Prometheus and Covenant, so that was that. I can't even say anything, because stupid people are hand in hand with these kind of franchises. You can check out my reviews that I did on Alien Covenant and Prometheus. I'll link them to this one, because holy shit, these characters were dumb as hell. Not only that, but this woman is being very irresponsible. And here's the thing. I thought this was a flashback, because there is no way this woman is this stupid that you actively had creatures that escaped, or you know there was sabotage where these creatures escaped. 2 of them were on top of the heads of your other crew members, one of them being the captain. And you were this careless, and you also leave the container open and take shortcuts. She doesn't put the main security lid back on. And she's just like, I'm gonna be chewing, and even the Oculus thing is like, you're not gonna close that? Meanwhile, she's like, why don't you take a picture? It'll last longer. But she's so busy watching one of them feed on the rat she put in there, and we see that they like oxygen, apparently. You know, who doesn't? So there's other things like, ooh, I smell something really good. I smell water. And that's when you realize these things are freaking smart. They can problem solve. Like, what? This shit really threw me for six, because I didn't know these things were this intelligent. I did not know that these things were problem solvers and could figure out how to open the freaking container and know that the other thing is distracted, you know, keeping her distracted. And the Ocellus thing is like, hello? The minute this thing starts to creep out, like, ooh, freedom, that's when the Ocellus thing notices, oh shit, that thing's out of its container. Hello? Are you gonna get that? You gonna take care of that? Bro, hello?
It's never you.
I don't know why I was still rooting for this woman to not get killed. The fact that the Ocellus thing was trying to warn her and trying to get her attention. Wait a minute. Uh-oh. Wow. Oh no. Oh, wait. I thought it was trying to get her attention to let her know, hey, those things are getting out. But what if it was getting her attention to distract her so that the thing could make her sick and kill her? But why would it want that? Because as soon as it starts doing that, it must know that she has a routine, that if it annoys her enough, she'll put it away. And if she was still looking, she would have seen it. So I think the Ocellus, I changed my mind. It is possible, the theory probably is, it was trying to get her attention so it could give the tick time to get away. Oh no, that's terrible. That's just... I'm sorry, this is disgusting. And this woman, I don't know, either she's not getting enough sleep or she really shouldn't be doing this job, because she's not being thorough with what she's doing. Like, she goes to lock it, but she doesn't make sure it's actually locked. It malfunctions somehow. The guy comes in and they realize, oh shit, one escaped. If he hadn't come in, she probably would have been dead. Then he's like, you didn't lock it, did you? Oh, I did though. No, you didn't, because here's a security container thing that you're supposed to put on it, stupid ass. That's why we have a freaking outbreak right now, sort of, providing that nobody tried to sabotage the ship. And then all hell starts breaking loose from here. Old Ocellus here is like, yo, this is a great time for me to get out of here. This is how intelligent this thing is. It knows exactly what it's doing. It knows how to get out. Not very far from how an octopus would behave. And I know that it got itself cut on that glass. Now it is trying to figure things out. And remember, the tadpoles that the tick laid are in that container. Which, plot armor, she keeps reaching to drink and she never takes a sip of it. But as Final Destination would have it, nobody checks that the tadpoles are in the containers swimming around in there. Very obvious that they are, because every now and then you see them swimming past. Kid starts choking on something and takes some of her water, and I'm very upset about this. And she never takes a sip. With how much she shoves food in her freaking face, it's very convenient that she never takes a sip of water after that. Morrow is trying to keep everybody on track, and he interrogates everyone. And poor kid guy starts to feel sick. This is honestly so sad, because, like, nobody actually deserves this, but I think he's one of those people that really doesn't deserve this. And he does the old Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. And then the old man's like, no! That's when everyone's like, oh shit, there's another alien that's escaped. This is really turning out to be a great night, isn't it? Or morning or night. What would it be if you're in space? Like, what's morning and night? How are they telling time if the sun is no longer, whatever? Kumi goes through everyone's feed, and that's when he sees the previous chief engineer, who's supposed to be in his cryopod, but he hacked it to make it look like he's still asleep in it. He was actually talking to Boy Cavalier. He's basically Dennis Nedry in this show. And he's supposed to sabotage the ship to make it crash land on Earth right into his building over here. And that's why the ship ends up where it does. You want to know what other stupid things the characters are going to do today? They want to save Kid's life. They realize that his intestinal tract, his esophagus, has these tadpoles on them, which is very unfortunate. So Hebrew guy's like, I'm just going to save him. I don't care what you guys say. I'm going to save him. And now is when they're deciding to put on their gloves. Can you guess whether or not they're going to follow up by putting on their masks? I'll wait.
Dr. Rahim, what are you doing?
Saving his fucking life.
By the way, this guy feels fear for the first time in his life. Now he knows what it's like to be stalked. And yeah, you guessed it. None of them are wearing masks. Not one of them. None of them are wearing hazmat suits. Nope. They're working with unknown alien species. Not one of them is wearing a mask. This guy is actively infected with one of these things, not knowing how he got infected in the first place. And none of them are wearing masks. None of them are wearing suits. When you know...
Subject has 6 foreign bodies. Landing next esophagus.
It's ticks. They're ticks!
We need to seal that room.
I'm gonna try to remove one.
No! Nobody asked you.
They're suffering too much blood.
Would you want to lead them? Lead! Tell them to stop.
Look, back off. The lady's a captain. It's her call.
And so they decide to do whatever they're gonna do and move the ticks with no frickin' masks. Why are you bothering wearing gloves? You have no, even if after you identify that they're ticks, nobody decides, knowing what ticks do, to I want to dropkick these characters. I swear to God, man. Oh, frickin' hell. Every single time. Every single time. And can you guess what's gonna happen? Bet you can't guess. And he's drinking while... What is that? So they try to pull the tick off. And just like with regular ticks, it is hard. And there's a defense mechanism that these things have where they release spores when they're being pulled prematurely from their host. So if they can't drink the blood of the thing and kill it that way, they just kill it outright. They're like, oh no, fuck, I guess we should have worn our fucking masks. They start bleeding through their eyes and their mouth and everywhere. And yeah, they're dead now. Because, say it with me, they weren't responsible and they didn't wear their masks or have preparation to wear bodysuits, working with an alien species you know nothing about that is actively infecting a person that you were working on. Like, how? What in the world? What? At this point, they deserve to die. This is the Darwin moment. Then, as if everything couldn't get worse enough or good enough, depends on your perspective, it got Tang, the creepy guy. Nobody really cares about him. And that's when the chief engineer, the previous guy, starts firing at them because he knows he's been had. He brings this guy, Sir Talks-a-Lot, into the lab, which is probably the worst place they could be, but it doesn't matter because his head gets blown open by that guy shooting at them anyway. Then he gets Deadpooled by Morrow. And then the guy gives this villain speech like, it's too late. You can't stop it. This looks very awkward when someone runs up behind you in the shower in jail. This is not working out the way everybody wanted it to work out. Look how fast those ticks grew as well. This is where we also see the xenomorph in this episode, and it likes to play around with its food, apparently. I like how it's all like, what do we have here? I want you to turn around and see me first before I attack. Or it's giving her a chance to say the magic passcode, and once she doesn't know it, it's like, you don't know the password? Okay, that's enough of that. Now it's time to chase you. Run so I can chase you. And it does exactly that. And this is giving alien isolation so heavily. When she runs in, she sees the old man who basically functions as the father to the kid guy that died. The way he's standing here, we already know something's wrong. Why is dude standing like this? It's like, are you okay? I am now. Thank you for asking. And we know, crap, the octopus got the poor old man. I wonder, ew. I wonder if it comes out. No, I think based on what happened to the cat, it basically kills, like it kills the brainstem or something. And once it comes out, the host is dead. Now she's locked in there with that monster while the xenomorph's trying to get in. It decides to try another way. Turns out Morrow was hiding this whole time. And he tries to help the woman. And here's what's really surprising about this. So Ocelus is in this guy, and it's like, oh, you want some of this? He's like, nope. And Ocelus notices the gun. He's like, no, we can talk about this. Then it starts calling for help. I don't know what it's doing, why it's doing that. At first, I thought it was working with the xenomorph, but I don't think that's the case.
Break it up.
So either call the xenomorph inside for a distraction or something, but then when the xenomorph came in, and Morrow's like, God damn it, now I gotta get out of the way. Then Ocelus is like, I'm gonna get you, xenomorph, for my family. and then just tackles the xenomorph, and apparently the xenomorph is nerfed to all hell when Acellus is biting it. This is obviously a very unseasoned xenomorph because it has no idea what the hell to do in this situation. So it stabs this thing, but it's not working, and it's like, why are you not dying? This isn't normal. Xenomorph's like, get out of here, dude. The xenomorph tries to kill this thing. I don't know why the xenomorph in this case wouldn't go for the skull, because it usually does that. But Acellus can't use this body anymore, so it comes out and still tries to fight the xenomorph without a freaking body. It's like, no, one-on-one, bitch. And Xenomorph's freaking out. I don't know what the hell is going on with the history between these two creatures, and why is the Xenomorph so afraid of it? This is so funny when you watch it without sound, because it almost feels like the freaking creepers and the ocelots from Minecraft. And it's so funny how they're all like, oh no, because of one cat, they're all freaking out like, please save us! While Morrow is still trying to secure everything and himself, the Xenomorph is doing the disco dance with the octopus alien and having a hard time at it. Because to kill this thing, it would have to kind of like slice itself, because the ocelot is so small. But people forget, it's also very strong. In episode 2 of Alien Earth, it tried to attack Nibs. Nibs is a synthetic. They are very strong, and she was having a very hard time fighting this thing off. Synthetics are also strong enough to defeat xenomorphs, as we see in episode 3 of Alien Earth. She was able to fight this thing in close range with it, even though she took quite a bit of damage. I mean, it should have torn her apart, but she was able to kill it, so she's pretty strong. That means if Ocelus is on par with a synthetic, maybe not as strong as, but let's say they have equal amount of strength, and a synthetic can kill a xenomorph, not without difficulty, while the xenomorph can also kill the synthetic, which would possibly put them on equal footing, then Acellus, even for its size, is going to be pretty powerful against both. Not as strong as the both of them, but especially given its size and how much of a nuisance it is to catch, and how strong it is being able to latch on, it could probably do some damage if it can crawl inside of you and pluck something out. If it were to get inside the xenomorph, can it withstand the acid? I have no idea, and I think it knows well enough not to break skin, or armor in this case. And then this woman gets her body eviscerated, finally, by the xenomorph, and honestly, this shot is so freaking funny, and it mauls her. It seems to already be very angry, having to fight the Ocelus, and that's when Michael Jackson moonwalks back into the view of the door. I don't know how it even does that. Also, apparently, this thing has been fighting the Ocelus. It doesn't even care about it at this point. It's like, let me go. I just want the humans. Just leave me alone, you freaking nasty gnat. I almost half expected the Ocelus to go inside of the xenomorph somehow, and we get some weird mutant thing from that. Because I'm sure where it came from, everything can't have the same type of blood that humans and animals here have. Maybe in its world, blood wasn't really that much of a factor, and so whenever it took over the host body on that planet of whatever creature lived there, didn't have a big red mark making it obvious that the creature was infected. We also see that poor Kumi, he is thinking about his child. That's why he's humming. That's why he was doing that. And when he finally gets in, he's just doing his job, and he looks like such a total badass. But at the same time, he's crying because he didn't want to have to kill all those people. So he's remembering all of this. We see that no matter what it looks like on the outside, he is affected by it on the inside. And that makes him very human. And that's when we get to the future, where he's back. He had worked with Yutani's grandmother, and he basically wants to kill Boy Cavalier. Because why would you not? The guy is responsible, even if it's indirectly, for killing all those crew members. We get a little backstory for him too, because he answers this woman and says, your grandmother had no reason to take me in. I'm very grateful to her. I was a feral boy with a palsied arm begging in the street. That's how he got his arm situation. And Miss Yutani here says, she always said you were the fiercest thing she's ever seen. Kumi is strong to his word because he said he'd bring the specimens home, and that's exactly what he's gonna do. And I'm honestly rooting for him. Sister wants to get lawyers involved, and he's saying no. No. Let's kill that dude. She's not saying anything because she can't say it, right? But you know that's what she wants as well. Meanwhile, she has her samurai everywhere. Could they be any more on the nose? And that's where episode 5 ends off. Very badass episode. Even other people who said they hate the show, if they're still watching, they admit that they did like this episode. Maybe it's because we get to see more aliens, and I really can't wait till we see more of these things in their, well, not natural habitat, but, you know, out there running wild. I love it. That's it for this adventure. Note to self, when things like this happen, remember, lives can be saved if you wear a mask when interacting with things that you have no knowledge of, especially alien life forms. Bye.